So practical number 2 is write MS Access code to apply given validation on the table and set error messages, set default value for column, and set and remove database password. Practical significance: the student will learn to create a simple structure of a database which contains multiple tables. Each table has its own structure. This practical is useful to apply validation on table and set error messages, set default values for a column, and set and remove database password. Relevant program outcomes are basic knowledge, discipline knowledge, experiments and practice, individual and teamwork, and communication. Competency and practical skill. This practical is expect to develop the following skills in you. That is, write MS Access code to given validation, write MS Access code to set default value for a column, write MS Access code to set and remove database password, and follow ethical practices. Relevant course outcomes are create and manage database using SQL command. Practical outcomes: perform following in GUI based database using GUI only, apply given validation on a table and set error messages, set default value for a column, set and remove database password. Relevant affective domain related outcomes: follow safety measures and follow ethical practices. Now, minimum theoretical background requires is about the validation of your data to ensure that the user enters the accurate data. So we require a validation rule and a validation text that specifies the message to the user. Now let's see the procedure to perform. First, open the database, then open the table in design view. At the bottom of the screen, find the validation rule field. In the validation rule field, type the validation rule. In the validation text field, type an error message. Save the database, use different features on it and apply it on the database, and close the database. These are the resources required to perform this experiment. Precautions: all SQL statement must end with a semicolon. Follow safety practices. And these are the actual resources that we have used, the system resources. Now starting with the procedure. So first, open the created database. We have already created a database in experiment number 1. So we have the sample database, as we can see here. So open the sample database. So previously we have created a table that is book data. So we will create one more table. So we will go to create table. So new table is created. I have created 4 columns, that is application ID, application name, age, and say RTO office. ID is of type number, name is of type text, age is of type number, and RTO office is of type text. So closing this, so it will ask me a question whether you want to save the changes for the table 1. Yes. Now this will allow me to give the name to this table. By default it is table 1. So I am changing it to RTO database. I will click on OK. So RTO database, you can see here RTO database table is created. Just double click here. So you can see here the name RTO database. So we will start with our validations. Setting a primary key. Since application ID I want it to be unique, so I will set a primary key. Here in this field validation, you can see here 2 fields, required and unique. So as per the rule of primary key, it is required, that is it must not be null, it must not be empty, and it must be unique. So that specifies that it will have the values that are not repeated. So once these both are selected, this column will become a primary key. So it will give me unique value and there will be at least some value in it. It will not be empty. Then coming to the age. Now since we are considering this as an RTO database, so for driving license, the minimum age you require is 18 years. So for setting a rule, you can see here validation. So in validation, I will select this validation. I have this option, field validation rule and field validation message. So I will select this validation rule and validation message. So initially what I will do, field validation rule. So first we will set the rule. So once you click on this, you will get this dialog box, and this is the space where you have to write your condition. So I have written a condition, that is age should be greater than or equal to 18. So this is the condition. Then I will click on OK. So rule has been applied here. Similarly, message. So if the value of this particular column does not satisfy the given condition, there should be some message. So I will select this field validation message. Again, a dialog box will be opening here. I will type the message here. Say for driving license, age must be 18 or above. So this is the message I will get if I enter a age below 18. Then click on OK. Now setting a default value. So what I will do is set this particular location, that is RTO office location, as a default value. Unless and until I have different value, and if I don't enter a value for this particular field, the default value will be set. So for this, again, what you can see here is the expression builder. So here equal to, so I will specify the location, that is Bhinder. So this is selected by this default value. You can see here in the field default value, so equal to Bhinder. Then click on OK. So you can see by default the Bhinder has been entered. So for default value we can see it is working. Now we have to check for the primary key as well as for the validation that is put on the age field. So initially I have entered one value, say application ID 1, some name, age. By default it is Bhinder. So again for the next it is showing me Bhinder. So first what I will do is, instead of this default 0, I will remove this. So I have removed the value, and when I try to click on this applicant name, it will give me this message, that is you must enter a value in RTO TB, because as per the condition it is required. So you should have at least some value. It can be 0, but it should have at least some value. So click on OK. So now what I have done is 1, some name, age, and I have not entered RTO office. It is given as a default. Now you can see here for both users, for both applicant ID is 1. Right. Now since I am in this particular row only, it has not checked the condition. Once I am trying to going to the next row, that is the third row, it will check. So as soon as I click on here, it shows the message that is the changes you requested were not successful. Now this is because as we have given the condition, it should be unique. Now this is not unique. So I click on OK, and I have changed that 1 to 2. So now these two both are unique. So we have checked for not null as well as the unique. So this feature we have checked. Now we will check on the age. So I have put another applicant here. Their ID is 3, so no problem here. But I have put the age as a 16. So since the age is 16, as per the rule, it is not allowed. So when I try to go for the next record, it is showing for driving license age must be 18 or above. Now this is the message that we have set in the validation message. So click on OK. Change the data which is actually required, say 18. So 18 will be accepted. Then again I am trying to enter another data. Now in this what I have done, okay, application ID is 4. So satisfy this condition. There is no condition on applicant name. Age is 20. So again condition is satisfied. Now here I have changed the RTO office. This is I have explicitly entered. So Virar, so it will accept the changes. But if you are not entering any value here, then by default it will take as a Bhinder. As we can see, it is ready for the next record. Okay. So I hope the concept regarding the validation rule and the validation message has been clear. Now only the part what we have not covered in this video is regarding the setting the password. Now because it is we share the system in our college, so it may happen that some of the students may change the password for the another one's database. So that's why I'm not covering that topic here. Now practical related question, like apply validation to restrict an hours work field to the values between 0 to 40. Now for this the same thing that we have used for the age field can be applied. So that's why I have written here, apply the rule similar to the age field. Again, set a default value in a text box where the user adds a new record. So this is the same field like we have done for the RT office where the default value was Bhinder. And what is the validation rule and the validation text? So validation rule creates an expression that restricts the value that can be entered in the field, and the validation text sets the error message for that validation rule. So I hope your concept regarding the validation rule and the validation text has been clear. So if you have any doubt, you can reach out to me. These are my details. Thank you.